The CEO's wife tested my sincerity by deliberately giving me 30 million yuan to see if I was after her money. She told me to take the money and do what I loved most. She thought, if I used it to buy a house or a car, she would divorce me immediately. But what she didn't expect was that I took the 30 million and bought a secluded island, along with enough supplies for a lifetime. I completely disappeared from her world. The clerk handling the paperwork was surprised, because the island was relatively unknown. Not even GPS could locate it. It was like being totally disconnected from the world. Mr. Zhao, are you sure you want to purchase this island? If you move there, it will be difficult to contact the outside world. I nodded with a sense of relief in my voice. That's exactly what I want. No contact at all. The clerk was slightly stunned. She seemed to find my request a bit strange. But out of professionalism, she didn't ask further. She just clearly explained the purchase process and when I could move in. Upon learning it would only take a few days to complete, I breathed a sigh of relief. I swiped my card and turned to leave. In my previous life, even until death, I never got the chance to spend that money. Now reborn, I was reincarnated right after we got engaged. The first thing I learned was not to wrong myself. As soon as I left the sales office, a black luxury car stopped in front of me. The door opened. The Zhiwei slowly walked toward me. Always calm and cool, she now looked flustered. Her cold eyes couldn't hide her deep worry. It was my first time seeing her after rebirth. I couldn't help but call out, using the name I used to threaten her with. But the Zhiwei didn't even really look at me. She grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the car. Jinyu, come with me quickly. I've prepared someone in the backseat. My head hit hard with a loud thump. The Zhiwei looked down at her phone screen. Without even noticing me, the car sped down the road, then quickly stopped at the hospital entrance. Before the car even stopped completely, she hurriedly dragged me out by the hand. Blood transfusion registration, only when I sat in front of the nurse, watching the needle pierce into my vein, did I finally hear the Zhiwei's explanation. Zaewon accidentally fell down the stairs. Don't worry, this time we won't draw too much. Before I could even reply, a hard slap landed squarely on my face. You little brat, where did you run off to? Didn't I tell you clearly to stay right behind your brother at all times? You're not allowed to leave him. My cheek felt like it was on fire, and the pain brought tears to my eyes instantly. I looked up at my furious mother. Unable to say a single word, my father held her back. But the anger in his eyes toward me was just as intense. Are you deliberately trying to worry us? If anything happens to Zaewon, I swear I'll skin you alive. And my sister, Zhao Xinyao, couldn't even be bothered to spare me a glance. I say we should just tie him up with a rope, so he stops running around. These are my family members. For the sake of my brother, they would gladly skin me alive, even just for me being missing a short while. The only one who helped me slightly, the Zhiwei. Even her words were only full of concern for Zhao Zaewon. Stop yelling. Don't disturb Zaewon's transfusion. Who would ever care about me? I was nothing more than Zhao Zaewon's walking blood bank. The only reason I was born into this world was because Zhao Zaewon had hemophilia since young, a severe blood clotting disorder. He needed regular transfusions to keep him alive. My parents gave birth to me as a living blood vessel. I've been a blood bag since I was little, constantly getting blood drawn. My wrists are full of puncture scars. No one loved me. My parents only saw me as a tool. My sister only cared about Zhao Zaewon. I was always the extra, the unwanted one. Only one person was good to me, the Zhiwei. The and Zhao families were old family friends. The Zhiwei was a bit older than Zhao Zaewon, so I had to call her sister. Growing up in such a neglected family, it was only natural that I fell in love with the one person who gave me warmth and care, the Zhiwei. I confessed my feelings to her. She was surprised, and her face showed no joy. But she still accepted my confession. She even promised she would marry me. God knows how happy I was at that moment. The person I liked actually liked me back. I thought all my luck in life was used up just to win the Zhiwei's love. So even though my parents and sister didn't care about me, I didn't mind. But later, I finally found out that the one the Zhui truly loved was actually Zhao Zeyuan. She agreed to marry me, only because she was afraid if I married someone else, I might become uncontrollable, and refused to donate blood to Zhao Zeyuan, putting his life at risk. She loved Zhao Zeyuan so much that she was willing to sacrifice her entire life just to keep him safe. I was like a fool, completely in the dark, still feeling so proud, thinking I was about to become the Zhiwei's husband. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. The emergency room door opened, and Zhao Zeyuan was wheeled out, surrounded by nurses. Father and Mother Zhao, Zhao Qingyao, and the Zhui all rushed toward Zhao Zeyuan in a swarm, leaving me behind. They were all concerned for him, showing endless care. I felt utterly disgusted. I gave a bitter smile, forcing myself to hold back the dizziness. I rolled up my sleeve. Then I stood up and walked outside. Once outside the door, I took one last look at the engagement ring on my ring finger. Then, without hesitation, I took it off and tossed it into the trash can. Since everyone loves Zhao Zeyuan, and no one loves me, then I will love myself. Every time I gave blood to Zhao Zeyuan, it would take me several days to recover. This time was no different. These past few days, the Zhao family stayed at the hospital with him, and I was home alone. I walked out of my room holding a cup, only to see the Zhui and Zhao Xinyao helping Zhao Zeyuan. As they carefully walked into the living room, the two of them looked after him with the utmost care. Zhao Xinyao shot me a cold glance, her once gentle eyes now full of sarcasm and contempt. You're at home all day doing nothing but lazing around, totally useless. You don't even have a single hobby. Aside from those crappy drawings, you're nothing compared to Zeyuan. I spend more than half my time donating blood to Zhao Zeyuan. The rest of the time is spent lying at home recovering. Hobbies. How would I have time to develop hobbies like Zeyuan? And those crappy drawings she mocked, they were the only dream in my otherwise ordinary life. Yet she still belittled them as worthless. I've heard words like these far too many times, but each time, they still stabbed painfully into my heart. The Zhui glanced sideways at me, and just like always, tried to smooth things over. Jingyu, are you feeling unwell from donating blood yesterday? Still tired? When the Zhui said that, Zhao Zeyuan immediately pretended to be understanding and said, "It's okay. I don't need to eat cake. Let Jingyu rest well." Zhao Xinyao shot me a look full of disdain, clearly displeased with my behavior. Zeyuan, why do you even bother with him? Everything he does for you is his duty. After all, the only reason he exists is because of you. You're just too kind. Only when you're happy does his existence have meaning. Do you understand? Such blunt words made my heart tremble violently again. In that moment, it felt like countless sharp needles were stabbing wildly into my chest. During the meal, everyone doted on Zhao Zeyuan. Father and Mother Zhao kept serving him food, and Zhao Xinyao even carefully deboned the fish. Before placing it in her bowl, every dish on the table was something Zhao Zeyuan liked. I lowered my head and quietly ate my rice. Suddenly, a piece of squid appeared in my bowl. I looked up at the Zhui beside me, then looked at the squid in my bowl, and gave a bitter smile. How considerate of her, still remembering to act like she loves me at this moment. As the meal came to an end, Father and Mother Zhao brought up the wedding. Between the Zhui and me, Zhao Zeyuan put down his chopsticks, resting his head lightly on his hand. Mom, Dad, I've been feeling really weak lately. I might not be able to attend Jingyu and Sister Zhiwei's wedding, but I really want to witness their happiness. How about postponing the wedding until I get better, okay? Everyone in this house knows that whatever he wants, he always gets. Why did he even bother pretending to be embarrassed, just to appear thoughtful and kind? Father, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Xinyao immediately agreed without hesitation. Only the Zhui paused slightly, then turned and calmly asked for my opinion. Jingyu, are you okay with that? In my previous life, Zhao Zeyuan used this exact excuse to delay the wedding year after year. As long as he didn't agree, the Zhui would never marry me. Thinking of that, I smiled bitterly. I'm fine with it. I put down my chopsticks and said, I'm done eating. Then I went straight upstairs. Without even looking back, watching my resolute back, the jouet felt for the first time that I had changed. Something felt off, but I just wasn't the same as before. In the days that followed, the wedding was postponed indefinitely. Naturally, the two of us no longer needed to plan for it. The jouet suddenly had plenty of time to travel and have fun with Zhao Zeyuan. Zhao Zeyuan even invited father and mother Zhao, as well as Zhao Xinyao, but he left me out, claiming it was because I had just donated blood and needed proper rest. Well, they are the real family, so harmonious and joyful. If I went with them, wouldn't I just be an eyesore? Why should I invite that kind of pain to share the joy of traveling with me? Zhao Zeyuan sent me a group photo from every place they visited. In those picturesque scenic backgrounds, he stood right in the middle, beaming brightly, so keen in the warmth from everyone around him. Jingyu, it's such a pity you couldn't come. The scenery here is absolutely breathtaking. Mom and Dad said that if I really like it here, they'll buy a house so I can stay sometimes. If I have free time, I can come relax. Brother Jingyu said he'll go anywhere I want to go in the future. Even Sister Jouet gave me a huge gift here. Do you want to know what it is? I deleted all the photos he sent me and turned off my phone. Then I began to pack my luggage. I just needed to endure a little longer. Then I would finally be free. At that moment, a rustling noise suddenly came from downstairs. I froze in place, and a few images popped into my mind. I remembered it was around this time in my previous life, when a thief broke into our home. He not only stole the priceless jewelry from our house, but also completely destroyed all my artwork. Suddenly, my heart was filled with dread. Money is just a material thing, but my works were created with blood, sweat, and tears. Thinking of this, I quickly gathered and secured my artwork. Then I called the police. Then I grabbed a knife and quietly hid behind the door, using the advantage of having lived through this once before. This time, I finally helped the police catch the intruder. But the difference in strength between us was huge. Even though I knew what he would do next, I still couldn't overpower him. This time, I sustained multiple injuries and even fell down the stairs. My face was covered in blood. When the Zhao family and the Jouet rushed back, they only saw the police cars leaving and me sitting messily on the couch, completely disheveled. Father and Mother Zhao were stunned. Their voices carried a hint of panic. You caught him all by yourself. Why didn't you call us? Burglars like these are ruthless. Do you have a death wish? Even the always indifferent Zhao Xinyao showed a rare look of surprise. A burglar showed up and you didn't call anyone? What's your deal? Acting like we've all been bullying you or something. I was utterly exhausted. I didn't even have the energy to speak. I sat on the couch, and the hand I used to hold the knife was still trembling. The Jouet noticed my shaking and rushed forward, grabbing my hand anxiously. Are you okay, Jingyu? Are you hurt anywhere? Do you need to go to the hospital? You're so foolish. Why didn't you call us? I forcefully pulled my hand away from her grasp, then weakly asked in return, would it have mattered if I did? Would any of you have come back from me? Everyone's expression shifted. They were clearly guilty, but still pretended of course we would. I laughed at myself bitterly. In my past life, I believed they would come back for me, so I called them one by one. But in the end, not a single one of them picked up. And I was discovered by the burglar for making calls in secret, and was tortured half to death. Later, I found out that night, they were all out with Zhao Zeyuan, watching fireworks, seeing how calm and composed I looked. The Jouet bit her lips slightly. Once again, she felt that I had truly changed. In the past, when something like this happened, the old me would have been weak. But now, I no longer relied on them. I was so calm. It was like none of this had anything to do with her. Just as she was about to speak, behind her, Zhao Xinyao suddenly noticed the luggage scattered on the floor. You pack so much. Where are you planning to go? The Jouet turned around sharply, her expression turning tense as well. Jingyu, what's going on? My heart skipped a beat. I had been too focused on the burglar and forgot my luggage was still out in the living room. I clenched the hand hidden inside my sleeve. Then, with a calm expression, I replied, "Seeing you all travel, I wanted to go out and clear my head too, so I packed in advance. That way, once I pick a place, I can just leave right away." Father and Mother Zhao's expressions darkened instantly. "Clear your head. Didn't I tell you before? Not to stray too far from Zaewon? That's right. What if he suddenly needs a transfusion and you're not around? You need to understand. Why do you think we brought you into this world? Hurry up and put your things away. Without our permission. You're not going anywhere." Seeing that my expression didn't change, the Jouet let out a small breath of relief. "Next time you want to go somewhere, just come with us. It's not safe to go alone, okay?" I laughed lightly to myself. "But the place I'm going, they'll never be there." A few days later, I received a message from the agency staff, informing me that the purchase procedures for the island were complete. Now, that isolated island belongs to me. I was overjoyed. I quickly dialed that phone number. The person on the other end reconfirmed with me, "Mr. Zhao, are you sure you want to enter the island in 3 days?" I had never been so certain in my life. "Yes, I'm sure." The staff responded, "Very well. Mr. Zhao, we will escort you to the island on time in 3 days." Just as the call ended, the Jouet suddenly pushed the door open. "What island?" I put my phone away and changed the subject. "Oh, nothing." "Jouet, did you come looking for me?" She didn't press further. She simply said, "Your competition entry won an award. The organizers invited you to attend the award ceremony the day after tomorrow." If the Jouet hadn't brought it up, I would have almost forgotten. My painting skills were actually quite good. A month ago, I had just qualified for the finals of a prestigious national competition. I didn't expect to actually win. On the day of the ceremony, Zhao Zaewon brought the whole family and insisted on coming with me to the venue. "Jingyu, you're my little brother. Of course we have to witness your moment of glory." But then, he changed his tone and sighed with a hint of regret. "I wish I could win an award too. Too bad my health is poor. So I never had time to learn to paint. But it's okay. If you win, it's the same as me winning." I didn't respond, but I had a bad feeling in my heart. The award ceremony began, and finally it was time to announce the gold prize winner. I sat in the audience, sweating nervously. This award meant everything to me. It was validation for my work and recognition from the industry. The host pulled out the winner list and suddenly showed a puzzled expression. But just moments later, she returned to normal and began to announce, "Let's congratulate the gold award winner, Zhao Zaewon." There was an uproar in the audience. No one had ever heard of this name before. They lowered their voices to whisper, "Who is this Zhao Zaewon? A newcomer to the industry? No idea." But I clearly heard. The gold award was supposed to go to the artist of Sunset, Zhao Jingyu. I stood frozen, stunned for a long time before reacting. Just as I was about to get up and question the organizers, Zhao Xinyao suddenly pulled me back. "Enough. I was the one who contacted the organizers an hour ago and arranged for Zaewon to go on stage. Zaewon enjoys the feeling of being in the spotlight. From now on, all your works will be published under Zaewon's name." I turned around in disbelief. Father and Mother Zhao were watching Zhao Zaewon on stage with pride in their eyes. They looked back at me half-heartedly and said, "Don't argue with your brother and sister. It's just an award, that's all." The Jiwei's eyes were dull. Her attention completely focused on the spotlight, shining down on Zhao Zaewon. She didn't even notice how pale I looked. At that moment, I felt ice cold inside. Once again, Zhao Zaewon had stolen my moment to shine. And the accomplices were all of them, amidst the applause. Zhao Zaewon thanked everyone, except me. Back at the Zhao home, I went to my room and gathered all of my artwork. Along with all these years, the toys I bought with 3 months' allowance, that I secretly saved, the handmade dolls I carved alone in my room, my worn-out clothes and shoes. Then I brought all of it to the living room and dumped everything in front of Zhao Zaewon. Zhao Zaewon was startled. "Jingyu, what are you doing?" I pointed to the items on the floor. "My Tomcom, aren't they the ones who said that all of my works belong to you now?" "Not just the works. I'll give you everything I own." As I looked around at everyone, I mocked myself inwardly. Even Mom and Dad and my sister, they can all go to you. All of it to him, back in my room. I didn't even eat dinner. I locked myself inside alone, packing my final things. Father Zhao and Mother Zhao thought I was just sulking, grumbling nonstop outside the door. Your temper is getting worse and worse these days. It's just a few artworks, nothing more. Was it necessary to throw a tantrum at your brother? Looks like you're growing wings now. Amid all the accusations, the Jouet gently knocked on my door. Jingyu, don't be upset. Come out and have something to eat, okay? I turned to look toward the doorway. My heart ached, but my eyes were dry. Outside the door, Zhao Xinyao impatiently pulled the Jouet away. Jouet-ji, don't bother with him. He just likes to be dramatic. I want to see how many meals he can skip. I smiled, because I was leaving tomorrow. The next morning, I got up extra early. But to my surprise, the Zhao family was already gone. I checked my phone and found out, in the early hours of the morning, they had taken Zhao Zayuan to He Mountain next door to pray. I heard the temple there is very spiritual, but you have to hike up on foot and hang up your wishing plaque before sunrise. No wonder they left so early. It was all to pray for Zhao Zayuan. On social media, every single one of them posted something. The photos and wishes were, without exception, about Zhao Zayuan. Father Zhao, wishing Zayuan peace and safety, and happiness forever. Mother Zhao, may all my precious baby's wishes come true, and everything he desires be his. Zhao Xinyao, may Zayuan have a life of peace and joy. The Jouet didn't post a photo of Zhao Zayuan, only a picture of the words written on the wishing plaque. May you be well, may you have fair wines every year. In my past life, the Jouet hung many wishing plaques on this tree. Someone who never believed in gods or spirits, yet visited this temple almost every year to pray. Only because one of the plaques had the character Feng on it. I always thought, the person in her heart was me. Only before I died did I learn that actually, all the wishing plaques had the name Zhao Zayuan on the back. Turns out I was moved for so many years for nothing. It was all just a joke. Luckily, heaven gave me a second chance. And this time, I've completely woken up. No more repeating the same mistakes. My phone dinged. A text message alert, Mr. Zhao. Welcome to the island. Please head to the airport immediately. Our staff will be there to receive you. May every day on the island bring you nothing but smooth sailing and peace of mind. I smiled and closed my phone. Then I placed the pre-written parental severance document on the table. Just before heading out, something occurred to me. I paused, took off the necklace from around my neck. It was a gift from the Jouet after our confession years ago. A family heirloom she gave to me. She said, the person who wears this necklace will be my husband, the future master of the family. But now, I no longer care to be anyone's so-called master. I placed the heirloom on the severance papers, grabbed my suitcase, and walked out the door. Suddenly, my phone started vibrating like crazy. I stopped. Still, I took out my phone. There were over a dozen missed calls on the screen. From Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, Zhao Xinyao, and the Jouet. I opened the group chat. Countless messages from the idol group appeared instantly. Jingyu, Zayuan accidentally slipped and fell down the mountain. He's bleeding badly. Come to the hospital to donate blood now. You have half an hour to show up at the hospital. If something happens to Zayuan, I asked on your behalf. I paused. Then, with a blank expression, I clicked to leave the group chat and blocked each of them one by one. From now on, I am no longer Zhao Zayuan Zubao, no longer the second son of Father and Mother Zhao, no longer Zhao Xinyao's younger brother, and certainly not the Jiwei's fiancé. I am Wang, just Wang. I turned my head and looked one last time at the place I had lived for over 20 years, then dragged my suitcase and got into the car that came to pick me up. Without looking back, the car drove off into the distance. All that was left on the ground was a broken SIM card. In the hospital, Zhao Zayuan lay on the bed, his face pale as paper, his lips drained of color, his eyes shut tight and brows furrowed, as if trapped in endless pain. Father and Mother Zhao paced anxiously beside him. Zhao Xinyao stood nearby, making phone calls nonstop, trying to contact me. But, on the other end, was only the cold message. The number you dialed is currently powered off. The Jouet stood aside, a trace of darkness flashing in her eyes. She took out her phone and dialed the number. Briefly said, "Find me someone with our H-negative blood type. Send them to the hospital immediately, no matter the cost." After saying that, she hung up the call. She turned and walked toward Zhao Zayuan's hospital bed, her eyes full of worry and urgency. After the blood transfusion ended, Zhao Zayuan's face gradually regained some color. Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Xinyao all breathed a sigh of relief. The Jouet looked at Zhao Zayuan, her eyes still full of worry. She said, "Zayuan, rest well. I'll go check on Jingyu." The Jouet hurried back to the Zhao household. As soon as she entered, she sensed something was off in the air. She walked into the living room and saw on the table a severance of parent-child relationship letter and the family heirloom. Her face instantly turned pale. She picked up the agreement, looking at my signature on it. Her hands couldn't help but tremble slightly. Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Xinyao also rushed back shortly after. When they saw what was on the table, they were stunned too. Mother Zhao was the first to react. She grabbed the agreement and tore it into pieces, shouting loudly, "That unfilial child! How dare he!" Father Zhao's face also turned extremely grim. He said he must be acting out of anger, trying to sever ties with the Zhao family and break off the engagement with the family. He's just a clueless brat. I'd like to see where he can go without us. He'll come crawling back in a few days, tail between his legs. Zhao Xinyao snorted coldly on the side and said, "Exactly. He's just trying to get our attention. What he needs is a good lesson. Forget it. Let's go to the hospital and stay with Zayuan first." Of all times to throw a tantrum, he picks when Zayuan is hurt. If anything happens to Zayuan, I definitely won't forgive him. With that, the Zhao family stormed out the door. Only the Jouet clutched the family heirloom tightly in her hand. Her heart filled with unease. Was he really just being impulsive? Would he really come back in a few days? He would. We haven't had our wedding yet. I love him so much. He will come back, she told herself over and over again. Then she tucked the necklace close to her chest and quickly walked out the door. The Zhao family and the Jouet hurried back to the hospital, anxiously heading toward Zhao Zayuan's ward. Just as they reached the door, they heard Zhao Zayuan's voice from inside. He seemed to be on the phone. This fake fall down the mountain really wore me out. To drive him away, I really had to go all out. These past years, it was either fainting or falling down the stairs. Last time, I even deliberately mistook the gas pedal for the brake and hit him. Yet he still held on and wouldn't leave. But luckily, it's finally all over now. I finally drove him away. No one is fighting with me anymore. I don't have to pretend to be weak anymore. Hearing this, everyone was struck like by lightning. They stood in shock where they were. How could Zhao Zayuan do such a thing? They had always thought he was fragile and innocent. They never imagined it was all part of his scheme. Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Xinyao burst into the ward, their faces dark with rage. When Zhao Zayuan saw them, his face instantly turned pale. His phone dropped to the floor with a smack. "Zayuan, why would you do this?" Mother Zhao's voice trembled, her eyes filled with disbelief. Zhao Zayuan quickly rushed over to grab his parents. "Sister, I was wrong. I was just too afraid of losing your love. You only had me as your son, your daughter. But then you gave birth to Jingyu. I was just scared he'd steal your affection from me." Hearing that, Father and Mother Zhao shouted angrily, "Nonsense. He was born because of you in the first place. How could we ever love him more? All these years, our love for you has only grown. Didn't you see that? Why did you still play these dirty tricks?" Zhao Xinyao was furious as well. "I thought last time's car accident was really an accident. He was covered in blood after getting hit. And I was only focused on comforting you. And now you're telling me it was all on purpose? Zayuan, you've let me down so much." Seeing his parents and sister getting angry, Zhao Zayuan immediately panicked. He grabbed onto their sleeves. Feeling wrong, he said, "I didn't mean it. I swear this is the last time. I've let you down. You love me the most. Please forgive me, okay? Mom, Dad, whenever you had insomnia and headaches, I carefully prepared aromatherapy to help you relax. Sis, back during the earthquake, I risked my life to pull you out of the rubble. From inside the ruins." Zhao Jingyao's eyes revealed a hint of hesitation. Father and Mother Zhao also looked conflicted. Zhao Zayuan turned to look at the Zhui. With a face full of grievance, he said, Sister Wei, you like me, right? That year in the garden when I played the piano, you fell in love with me at first sight. He was only born to donate blood to me. I know I made him donate multiple times, but I really couldn't stand him stealing your love. The Zhui frowned deeply, her heart a mess of emotions. She always thought Zhao Zayuan was a kind and simple boy. She never imagined he was so calculating and manipulative. Just then, the housekeeper, who had been silently standing by, suddenly stepped forward. With a loud thud, she knelt down. Tears streamed down her face as she said, Master, Madam, Miss, I can't hold it in anymore. I have to speak the truth. You've all been deceived by the eldest young master. The housekeeper raised her voice. Master, Madam, every time you had insomnia and headaches, it was the second young master who personally made the aromatherapy oils. The eldest young master just took the credit. During the earthquake years ago, it was the second young master who risked his life to carry you out of the rubble. But the eldest young master let everyone think it was him. And that day in the garden, it was the second young master who was really playing the piano. But the eldest young master deliberately complained in front of MISTOOK, misleading her. The housekeeper's words landed like bombs, exploding inside the ward. The Zhao family and the Zhui were stunned on the spot, their faces full of shock and regret. They never would have imagined the truth would be so cruel. Zhao Zayuan's face turned pale as paper. He stared at the housekeeper in fear. He screamed, You old hag! What nonsense are you spouting? I didn't lie. I did all of those things myself. The housekeeper gave a bitter smile. Young master, deep down, don't you know the truth? The second young master never received much love growing up, not even from his parents. Even my sister didn't love me. Even my fiancé didn't truly love me. How did the second young master treat everyone? We servants saw it all quietly with our own eyes. Once, I asked him why he didn't tell the truth. He said, What's the point of telling the truth? No one would believe me. After all, everyone loves Zhao Zayuan. No one loves me. He said that sometimes he wished he had never been born into this world. That sentence nearly made the Zhao family and the Zhui lose their balance. Zhao Zayuan couldn't listen anymore. He jumped up and pointed at the nanny, cursing, You old hag! How dare you twist the truth? You must have taken his money. That's why you're spouting nonsense. The nanny gave a bitter smile. Calmly, she said, Young master, you get 1 million a month for living expenses. And the second young master, he only gets 600 yuan a month. How could he possibly have money to bribe me? I've served in the Zhao family for many years. I just couldn't stand watching the second young master get bullied like this. The Zhao family and the Zhui were even more shocked after hearing the nanny's words. The Zhui trembled as she asked, You only give him 600 yuan a month to live on? Zhao's parents stammered, voices trembling. We didn't give it monthly. It was just occasionally when we thought of him. But they rarely ever thought of me. After all, most of the time, they were revolving around Zhao Zayuan. Zhao Xinyao's face turned pale. For some reason, she suddenly recalled my tattered clothes, worn-out shoes, and the many times she caught me working part-time outside. Back then, what did she do? She scolded me, saying I was the dignified second young master of the Zhao family, yet still went out to do such shameful part-time work. Didn't the Zhao family give you money? She asked. At the time, I just kept my head down in silence, but my eyes were already red with tears. Thinking back now, wasn't it simply because they never gave me money, and because I always had to be ready to donate blood to Zhao Zayuan? I couldn't even have a normal social life or job. Her mind buzzed. A mix of emotions surged in her chest, making it hard to breathe. Zhao Zayuan, seeing he couldn't outtalk the nanny, rushed forward and cried out, Mom, Dad, Sis, I'm your real son. I'm your real brother, Weiji. I'm the one you truly love. How can you doubt me because of a nanny? In the past, they wouldn't have. But just 10 minutes ago, they heard him on the phone themselves, proudly bragging about how he faked his injuries just to drive me away. For the first time, Father, Mother, and Zhao Qingyao pushed him away, their eyes filled with disappointment. The Zhui, with a dark expression, dialed the number. Look into something for me. At that moment, Zhao Zayuan collapsed to the floor. He knew he was finished. The special investigator didn't dare delay. The investigation began immediately. Soon after, a detailed report was delivered to the Jouet. The report not only confirmed everything the nanny said, but also uncovered even more of Zhao Ziyuan's misdeeds. The Jouet trembled slightly with rage as she read it. She handed the report to the Zhao family. Father, mother, and Zhao Xinyao turned pale after reading it, as if struck by lightning. So it turned out, Zhao Ziyuan not only stole all my achievements, but also arranged for people to bully me in school. No wonder they always saw me come home covered in bruises. But not only did they not care, they even scolded me, saying I was out fooling around all day. They said I couldn't compare to my siblings at all. One time, he even sent thugs after me on purpose. If I hadn't run fast enough, I don't know what would have happened. He actually set them up just to punish me. If I hadn't escaped quickly, I might have been beaten to death by those thugs. The most hateful thing is, that home invasion robber was actually arranged by him. The goal was simply to kill me. Bastard. Father and Mother Zhao never imagined that their seemingly obedient son could commit such heartless and insane acts. Zhao Xinyao was overwhelmed with regret and anger. When she looked at Zhao Ziyuan again, her eyes burned with fury. Zhao Ziyuan, Jingyu is your brother. How could you do such things? Seeing there was no way to salvage the situation, Zhao Ziyuan gave up all pretense. He laughed maniacally. Yes? I did all of it. So what? I wanted him gone. I want everything for myself. You promised to love only me. I was supposed to be your only son. Why did you even have him? If you gave birth to him, he was just meant to donate blood to me. But why did he have to beg for your love? Why did he do so much for you? Making me look like a lousy brother? And as for you, Zhuweiji, I clearly liked you first. Why was he the first one you saw when you returned to the country? Why was it him playing piano in the garden that day, making you fall for him at first sight? You even secretly tried to find out who the pianist was. How could I allow the person I loved to love someone else? Of course, I had to take his place. His laughter echoed through the ward, sending chills down everyone's spine. The Zhao family and the Jouet looked at him with disgust, as if he were a demon straight from hell. Zhao Ziyuan, you will pay for what you've done, the Jouet said coldly. But Zhao Ziyuan sneered. What can you do to me? I'm the eldest young master of the Zhao family. Do you dare touch me? I'm the young master of the Zhao family. From today onward, you are no longer a son of the Zhao family. We are officially severing all ties with you. Zhao Ziyuan's eyes widened. He never thought Zhao father would be so resolute. Dad, mom, sister, Zhuweiji, I can't lose everything. I still have hemophilia. If you drive me out of the Zhao family, and I'm no longer the young master, how will I survive? He tried to beg for mercy, but the Zhao family was already completely disappointed in him. They ignored his pleas as the Jouet turned and left the hospital room. She was going to find me and tell me the whole truth, to ask for my forgiveness. It turns out I was the one she truly loved. But after all these years, how did she treat me? Perhaps, after learning the truth about why she approached me, I left so decisively. I even returned the family heirloom to her. It was all her fault. Why couldn't the world see clearly? Why didn't anyone uncover the truth? She was only one step away from marrying the boy she loved. No matter what, she could not lose me again. After discovering my phone was unreachable, the Jouet used all her connections, almost turning the entire city upside down. But there was still no trace of me. Her eyes were full of exhaustion and anxiety. Each failed attempt to find me was like a knife stabbing her heart. Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Xinyao were equally anxious. They stayed by the phone day and night, hoping for any news about me. Mother Zhao cried all day long. She kept blaming herself. It's all our fault. We're the ones who drove Jingyu away. If only we had uncovered Ziyuan's schemes earlier and treated Jingyu better, he wouldn't have left us. Father Zhao's face was full of regret. His back seemed to have hunched overnight. The once proud and spirited man had vanished without a trace. All that was left was a haggard old man worrying about his son. Zhao Xinyao wandered around like a headless fly searching for clues. She asked everyone she met if they'd seen me, but the answers were always disappointing. As time went on, everyone's anxiety worsened. They were on the verge of despair. The Zhui began expanding the search area. If he couldn't be found in the city, she'd search nationwide. If he couldn't be found nationwide, then worldwide. Father Zhao and Mother Zhao posted my photos all over streets and alleys, hoping a kind soul might offer clues. Zhao Xinyao also posted countless notices online looking for me. They described in detail my appearance and the circumstances of my disappearance, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea. One day, a private investigator called. He said in a remote town, he seemed to have found a boy who looked like me. The Zhui immediately drove there. Along the way, her heart pounded rapidly, filled with both hope and fear of disappointment. When she arrived at the town and found the location given by the investigator, she realized it had been a misunderstanding. The boy only looked like me from behind. When he turned around, the Zhui's heart sank to the bottom. Back at home, the Zhao family saw her devastated expression, and their last shred of hope was shattered. Mother Zhao collapsed to the ground, crying out loud. Father Zhao sat silently to the side, his hands covering his head. Tears streamed through his fingers. Zhao Xinyao punched the sofa in anger. She roared, Jingyu, where the hell are you? Why are you punishing us like this, just when everyone was about to give up? The Zhui suddenly remembered I once said, my biggest dream is to paint freely in a secluded place, living a peaceful life. A thought flashed through her mind. Could that be where I had gone? Could I have gone to a remote island? With that thought, she immediately pulled herself together. She began investigating isolated islands. After a difficult search, she finally found some clues on a secluded island. She brought the Zhao family and rushed to that island without rest. When they set foot on the island and saw its beautiful and peaceful scenery, their hearts were filled with hope. They searched everywhere for signs of me. The Zhui could hear her heartbeat in her ears. Her palms were drenched in sweat. Finally, under a cluster of coconut trees, they saw a familiar figure. That figure was intently painting, as if nothing around him mattered. The Zhui slowly stepped forward, her voice trembling, Jingyu. My body slightly stiffened. I slowly turned around. Seeing the Zhao family and the Zhui before me, a flicker of surprise flashed in my eyes, but I quickly regained my calm. Why are you here? My voice was soft, but on this quiet island, it rang out clearly. Mother Zhao couldn't hold back anymore. She rushed forward and hugged me tightly, crying loudly, Jingyu, Mom is sorry. Mom was wrong. We searched so hard for you. Father Zhao and Zhao Xinyao also stepped forward, their eyes full of guilt and emotion. The Zhui stood to the side, quietly watching me, 1,000 words in her heart. But she didn't know how to say any of them. She knew it was their fault, that I had suffered so much. She feared that getting close again would only hurt me more. I frowned slightly, not understanding why these people suddenly had a change of heart. I coldly pushed them away and said, have you mistaken me for someone else? Take a good look. I am Zhao Jingyu, not your beloved Zhao Zeyuan. Upon hearing these words, everyone felt a heart-wrenching pain in their chest. Zhao Xinyao could no longer hold back. She grabbed my hand. She explained everything from beginning to end. She said they now knew all about Zhao Zeyuan's actions over the years, and they understood all the grievances I had suffered. They now realized who they truly should have cherished. It wasn't Zhao Zeyuan, but me, the one who truly cared about them. Zhao Xinyao spoke with deep regret, her eyes red with emotion, but I simply looked at them coldly, smiling indifferently. So now that you've seen Zhao Zeyuan's true colors, you want to take me back as your son? Isn't it a little too late? Mother Zhao heard this, and tears gushed from her eyes. She took a step forward, trying to grab my hand. Jingyu, Mom was wrong. Mom really knows she was wrong now. You are my son. Mom can't live without you. I avoided her hand. Shaking my head, I said, there's no going back. I've started a new life here. And I have a new family now. Father Zhao's eyes widened. He asked in disbelief, new family, Jingyu? What do you mean by that? I remained calm and slowly said, a few days ago, on the shore of this island, I saved a couple and a girl. They're a family. To thank me for saving them. They asked me to be their godson, godmother, and sister. These days, they've treated me like their own son, giving me love and warmth I've never felt before. The Jiwei's heart tightened sharply. Jingyu, you don't even know who they are. How can you just get involved with them so easily? Be good and come back with me, okay? Our wedding is about to be held soon. I was wrong before. I mistook someone else for you. Can you forgive me, please? I looked at the Jiwei. There was a hint of indifference in my eyes. Sister Wei, do you really think everything can be forgiven with just one apology? I once longed so much for your love. But all you gave me was hurt. Now, I don't need it anymore. Forget the wedding. I don't want it either. Mother Zhao heard this. She hurried forward, tears flowing, and said, Jingyu, Mom knows she was wrong. I'll make it up to you from now on. Please come back with us, okay? I gently shook my head. You should leave. I'm very happy living here. My new family has shown me what true affection feels like. Zhao Fu frowned deeply. With deep regret, he said, Jingyu, Dad was wrong too. I was blinded by Zayuan in the past. I ignored your feelings. Can you give Dad another chance, please? I looked at Zhao Fu. My heart a whirlwind of emotions I had once longed so deeply to hear these words from my father. But now, it all seems too late. Some wounds once inflicted can never be healed. All I want now is to live a peaceful life. Zhao Xinyao stepped forward as well. Jingyu, Sis knows she treated you badly in the past. I shouldn't have sided with Zayuan to bully you. Come home with us. I promise I'll treat you twice as well. I still shook my head. The past should stay in the past. I've already started a new life. I don't want to return to the past. The Jiwei was unwilling to lose me just like that. She pleaded anxiously, Jingyu, I know I made terrible mistakes, but my love for you has never changed. I'll spend my whole life making it up to you. If you just give me a chance. I sneered coldly. Is that a threat? Your love is too cheap. The love you speak of was only to use me to shield responsibility. Now I've seen through everything. The Zhao family, hearing my words, all lowered their heads in shame. They knew that earning my forgiveness wouldn't be that easy. I turned and left, no longer paying attention to the group. When the Zhao family and the Jiwei came, they were already prepared to stay until I forgave them, even if it took everything. So, when they saw me walk away, they followed right behind. I returned home. Ling's mother, who had been waiting, rushed out to greet me. Jingyu, you're finally back. Your godfather made your favorite sweet and sour ribs. Your godmother washed your favorite cherries. They're all waiting for you. You silly boy. Going out to paint without dressing warmly. Aren't you cold? Your sister has been thinking about you nonstop. If you didn't come back soon, I bet she'd start searching the whole island for you. Wenyan. I smiled slightly, just about to speak, when a graceful, elegant woman stepped out from behind. I told you before, Jingyu is not allowed to call me sister anymore. I never said I wanted to be siblings with Jingyu. Hearing that, my ears suddenly flushed red. These days, Dad and Mom Ling treated me so well, spoiling me like never before, for the first time in 20 years. I felt such love and affection, and Ling Qiangsha treated me even better. But that kindness, even as a young man, I could feel it, was not a sister's love for her brother, but a woman's affection for a man. Ling's mother noticed too. She chuckled. Patting her daughter's hand, she said, all right, no more calling her sister. Who knows what your relationship will be in the future. They ushered me inside with warmth. Everyone gathered around me, as if I were a little prince. Standing at the doorway, Zhao's parents watched this scene unfold. Zhao Xinyao and the Jiwei were instantly stunned. This kind of scene wasn't unfamiliar to them. They used to treat Zhao Zayuan the same way. They had seen the longing in my eyes before. but always chose to ignore it. Now I finally had love, but not from them. The Zhao family was torn apart with pain. The Zhui was even more racked with regret. Her overwhelming emotions surged. As a woman herself, she couldn't fail to see Ling Qiangsha's feelings for me. It was obvious to her. She wasn't blind to it. Once everyone sat down at the table, Father and Mother Ling noticed the well-dressed group standing at the door. They couldn't help but ask me who they were. I furrowed my brows slightly and coldly replied, "Don't mind them. They're irrelevant." Just one sentence made the people standing at the door feel like knives were piercing their hearts. Zhao's mother couldn't help but cover her mouth, crying softly. Zhao's father's eyes turned red too. He recalled how he used to neglect me and was filled with regret. Zhao Qingyao lowered her head, clenching her hands tightly, her heart full of guilt. The Zhiwei's gaze was fixed tightly on Ling Qiangsha and me, like a venomous snake gnawing at her heart. She had thought I would always love her and wait for her, but now I had another woman by my side, one who could truly love and care for me. Ling Qiangsha seemed to sense the stares from outside. She slightly raised her head to glance at the doorway. Her eyes carried a hint of warning. She gently held my hand, as if declaring something to everyone present. I noticed Ling Qiangsha's gesture. My ears began to turn red, but I didn't pull away. I knew Ling Qiangsha was protecting me, shielding me from harm again, and the Zhao family and the Zhui could only watch helplessly. They stood outside the door for 3 full days, but I never came out to see them even once. 3 days later, the condition of the Zhao family and the Zhui worsened. Their lips were dry and cracked, their eyes lost all their brightness. Zhao's mother was already frail to begin with. After going so long without food or water, she finally collapsed from exhaustion. Zhao's father, Zhao Qingyao, and the Zhui immediately panicked. They rushed forward to support her. Inside the house, I heard the commotion. Unconsciously, my heart stirred. Ling Qiangsha gently held my hand. She gave me a reassuring look, as if saying, "With me here, you have nothing to worry about." Then she opened the door and said, "Come in and rest for a bit." Everyone was overjoyed and quickly helped Zhao's mother inside. After drinking some sugar water, Zhao's mother slowly regained consciousness. She looked around the room, and the first thing she did was tightly grab my hand. "Jingyu, you're finally letting us in. Does this mean you've forgiven us?" I yanked my hand back suddenly. "No, I haven't forgiven you. Letting you in was just so you wouldn't die at my doorstep." Zhao's mother's expression instantly dimmed. Zhao's father and Zhao Qingyao also lowered their heads. The Zhui, on the other hand, looked up. Her eyes were red. "Jingyu, I know I hurt you too deeply in the past. It's only natural you won't forgive me, but I won't give up. I'll stay on this island and wait until the day you forgive me." I raised my eyes to look at her. "Zhui, don't you think what you're saying is ridiculous? You're the heir of the family. You're giving up everything just to stay here with me on this island?" I had thought saying that would make the Zhui back down, but what I heard instead was an unwavering answer. Right after that, Zhao's father, mother, and Zhao Xinyao also stood up quickly. "Us too. Jingyu, we don't want anything anymore. We just hope you can forgive us. Can't we go back to the Zhao family?" I shook my head. "It's impossible for me to go back with you. If you want to stay here, then stay. But I've already decided to leave. I came to this island in the first place to cut ties with the world, to sever all relationships with everyone. But now I've changed my mind. I met my adoptive parents who gave me redemption. And there's Ling Qiangsha." Yesterday, Ling Qiangsha said there were still family matters to take care of. They needed to return, and they wanted to take me with them. At first, I hesitated, but then Ling Qiangsha said if I didn't go, they wouldn't leave either. Seeing them willing to give up everything for me, I smiled. Where we go doesn't matter. What matters is being with the ones I want to be with. So I decided to leave the island with the Lu family. Hearing my decision, the Zhui felt deeply unsettled. She never imagined that just one sentence from Ling Qiangsha would make me willing to leave. While they had stood outside for 3 days and nights, unable to earn even a sliver of forgiveness, in that moment, her heart suddenly ached. She faintly realized Jingyu might never belong to her again, but she refused to accept that truth. So she immediately said to Jingyu, "Wherever you are, that's where we'll be." 3 days later, I left the island, together with the Lin family, Aunt Lin, and Ling Qiangsha. Following closely behind were the Zhao family and the Zhui. Just as we got off the plane, I immediately got into the Lin family's car. The Zhao family and the Zhui tried to follow, but were blocked by Ling Qiangsha. Sorry, private property is off limits. They still wouldn't give up, especially after so many sleepless days, let alone trying to win me over. They no longer even held the slightest interest, thinking there'd be more chances in the future. They finally didn't follow me this time. From the way the Lin family talked these past days, I could tell. This was a family of wealth and status, but once I entered the house, I was still shocked. I thought the Zhao and Jiyu families were already considered top tier, but I never imagined the Lin residence would be a literal castle. I couldn't help but be stunned by the luxurious sight before me. Towering domes, magnificent crystal chandeliers, exquisite murals, and priceless antique ornaments. Everything spoke of the Lin family's immense wealth and noble status. Lin Chu smiled and said to me, "Jingyu, this will be your home from now on. No need to feel restrained. Treat this place just like your own home." Aunt Lin warmly held my hand, leading me to tour all the rooms. Ling Qiangsha quietly followed by my side, her eyes full of gentleness and affection. Suddenly, I thought of something, and abruptly turned around to look at the Lin family uncle, Aunt. I heard the richest person in the world is surnamed Lin. Uncle Lin, Aunt Lin, and Ling Qiangsha exchanged glances, all with gentle looks in their eyes. In the end, Ling Qiangsha held my hand affectionately and said, "Jingyu, we didn't mean to hide it from you. It's just that the Lin family attracts too much attention. Even though you saved us before, we didn't know who you truly were either. So, we couldn't reveal our real identities." Yes, that's right. You guessed correctly. We are the richest family in the world. I was too shocked to speak. I never imagined that something I picked up so casually would turn out to be such a powerful family. I hurriedly took a few steps back. Uncle, Aunt, I really didn't know. Didn't know who you truly were. If I had known, I definitely wouldn't have agreed to be your godson. Now that you're safely home, I'll take my leave. I hurriedly turned around to leave. But just as I took a step, Ling Qiangsha hugged me tightly. "Jingyu, father and mother can't be without you anymore. Can you really just walk away like this?" Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin quickly came forward as well. "Yes, Jingyu, no matter what status we have, you're still our godson. That will never change. How we treated you before, we'll only treat you even better now." I was stunned. I just felt I wasn't worthy. Not worthy of such good parents. Not worthy of such a wonderful home. Thinking of what had been uncovered about my background lately, Uncle Lin, Aunt Lin, and Ling Qiangsha all fell silent. Ling Qiangsha took a deep breath. In a gentle voice, she said, "Jingyu, you are the best boy in the whole world. You must know, you deserve the very best, including me." Really? The three of them nodded firmly in unison. My eyes turned red. Okay, I'll stay. During my time with the Lin family, I felt like I was living in a beautiful dream, surrounded by endless love. Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin cared for me in every way. Every single morning, they would carefully prepare the breakfast I loved most. Ling Qiangsha was always by my side. She took me through every corner of the castle. She would also take me to the private cinema in the castle to watch her favorite movies with me. We leaned together on the soft couch, sharing our thoughts and feelings. When I mentioned that I wanted to continue painting, the Lin family gave me their full support. Uncle Lin specially built a spacious and well-lit studio just for me. It was filled with all kinds of top-tier painting tools and rare, high-quality pigments. Aunt Lin searched for famous artist works so I could study and appreciate them. She even invited renowned painting teachers to guide me. Ling Qiangsha often stayed with me in the studio, spending many quiet and wonderful afternoons together. She would sit quietly and watch as I painted with focus. The affection in her eyes grew stronger and stronger. The Lin family would regularly host grand gatherings, inviting elites from all walks of life. At every party, they would proudly introduce me to everyone, treating me as one of the Lin family. At these events, I gradually became more confident and cheerful. My handsome looks and talents also began to shine in front of others. Ling Qiangsha always held my arm tightly, making me feel incredibly secure. Whenever I got sick, the care I received from the Lin family was meticulous. Uncle Lin immediately contacted the world's top medical team to give me a thorough examination and treatment. Aunt Lin personally cooked nutritious soup. She fed it to me one spoonful at a time. Lin Qiangsha stayed by my bedside day and night, constantly monitoring my condition. Her eyes were full of worry and heartache. With the love of the Lin family and Lin Qiangsha, I felt like a completely new person. No longer that inferior and timid boy who suffered endless grievances, but a boy surrounded by love, filled with sunshine. Meanwhile, the Zhao family and the Zhui racked their brains, trying every way possible to ask for my forgiveness. Father Zhao and Mother Zhao wrote long apology letters every day, recalling every little thing from my childhood, expressing their deep remorse. But I remained indifferent to it all. My new life in the Liu family was fulfilling and joyful. The love and care they gave me helped me gradually let go of past pain. But that didn't mean I could easily forgive those from the Zhao family and the Zhui who had hurt me deeply. Until that day, I received another envelope from the Zhui. She said she wanted to see me, holding the Zhui's letter. My heart wrestled for a long time. In the end, I decided to go to the meeting place, just to finally sever all ties to the past. I carefully chose a simple shirt, casually styled my hair, and tried to face everything calmly, no matter what might happen. When I arrived at the abandoned warehouse, a stench of decay hit me immediately. Dim lights flickered in the corners. Shadows loomed everywhere, sending chills down my spine. I carefully walked into the warehouse, my eyes cautiously scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a figure slowly emerged from the corner. I looked closely. It was Zhao Zayuan, dressed like a beggar. His hair was matted like dry grass, his clothes torn and ragged, his face covered in dirt, and his eyes carried an unreadable expression. Jingyu, you came. Zhao Zayuan's voice was hoarse and dry, as if it came from the depths of hell. I was startled inside. Instinctively, I took a step back. I asked cautiously, "Why is it you? Where's the Zhui?" Zhao Zayuan let out a cold laugh. He slowly walked toward me, the Zhui. "You think she can still meet you so easily? Today, it's just you and me." I frowned. A feeling of unease welled up inside me. "Zhao Zayuan, what exactly do you want?" "There's nothing left for us to say." Suddenly, Zhao Zayuan burst into maniacal laughter. His laughter echoed through the empty warehouse. It sounded especially eerie. "Nothing to say. You took everything from me. Now you're the beloved young master of the richest family, and I was kicked out of the Zhao family. Left with nothing, reduced to a beggar. Why?" A wave of anger rose in me. "I took everything from you? Don't forget, you were the one taking things from me since we were kids. It was you who caused me to become a blood donor. You were the one who made me suffer." Right after I spoke, he pulled out a spray and sprayed it at me. I couldn't dodge in time. I completely passed out. When I regained consciousness again, I found myself tightly tied up. Zhao Zayuan was holding a knife to my neck. "I've already called both families here. I want to see just how much they care about you now." Not long after, the sound of footsteps grew louder outside the warehouse. The Liu family and Lin Qiangsha arrived first. When Lin Qiangsha saw me being held hostage, her eyes turned red instantly. She roared, "Zhao Zayuan, let him go. If you dare hurt even a hair on him, I'll make sure you die with no place to be buried." Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin also looked shocked and furious. Aunt Lin trembled as she spoke, "You vicious man. What did Jingyu ever do to you to deserve this treatment?" Right after that, the Zhao family and the Zhui also rushed in. When Zhao's mother saw the scene, she collapsed to the ground. She sobbed uncontrollably, "My son, Zayuan, how could you do this?" Zhao's father's eyes blazed with fury, staring angrily at Zhao Zayuan. "You unfilial son, how could you commit such a heinous act? How could someone like you come from the Zhao family?" The Zhui, full of guilt and worry, kept her eyes fixed on the knife in Zhao Zayuan's hand, afraid he would act on impulse and hurt me. She said, "Zayuan, if you're angry, take it out on me. Let Jingyu go. He's innocent." Zhao Zayuan observed everyone's reactions, and his face twisted into a grotesque smile, waving the knife in his hand. He raved. Innocent. He stole everything from me. My family, my love. Then a sinister gleam flashed through his eyes. Staring at everyone present, he shouted, "Fine. If you care so much about him, then kneel down." I looked at him in disbelief. "Zhao Zayuan, what are you?" Before I could finish, Lin Qiangsha was the first to kneel. Then Uncle Lin and Aunt Lin followed. After that, the Zhui, and then Father Zhao and Mother Zhao. Even Zhao Qingyao knelt before him. "We're kneeling. Now let Jingyu go." Watching this scene, I was stunned, but seeing everyone kneel before him, Zhao Zayuan wasn't satisfied. Instead, he became even more deranged. "You love him that much. You're even willing to kneel for him. What about me? Dad, Mom, Sister, Zhui. You all used to love me the most." Zhao Zayuan's eyes swept over the Zhao family and the Zhui. His expression twisted in a mixture of pain and madness. "And the Lin family to... Aren't you Lin family people supposed to be the noblest? The world's richest, so dignified, right? Yet you're kneeling for someone like him? Why? Don't even mention kneeling," Lin Qiangsha said firmly. "As long as you let him go. I'd even die if you asked me to." Father Zhao looked at the deranged Zhao Zayuan. His eyes filled with heartbreak and helplessness. Trembling, he said, "Zayuan, we used to love you very much, but look at what you've done. You've hurt Jingyu again and again. Your heart is now filled with jealousy and hatred." Mother Zhao cried and begged, "Wake up. Don't continue down the wrong path. Hurting Jingyu won't bring you happiness." Zhao Qingyao looked both sad and angry. She gritted her teeth and said, "Zhao Zayuan, you weren't like this before. What happened to you? What turned you into this?" The Zhui shouted, "Zhao Zayuan, you can't keep making mistakes. Jingyu is innocent. Let him go." But Zhao Zayuan ignored her. He suddenly stopped moving, a strange smile appearing on his face. He pressed the knife against my neck, then dragged me toward the door. Moments later, he slowly pulled out a remote control from his pocket. "None of you are leaving. I've already planned everything. There are bombs hidden here. As long as I press this button, everyone dies." Everyone was shocked. No one expected Zhao Zayuan to go this far. He even planted bombs. Before anyone could react, Zhao Zayuan shoved me inside, then threw the bomb in. He turned and locked the door from outside. The bomb exploded at my feet. Everyone rushed toward me. By the time rescue arrived, the scene was in total ruin. Everyone had shielded me. I was at the very bottom, protected. I was the least injured. Next were the Zhao family and the Zhui. The most seriously injured were none other than the Lin family. I held on to Lin father, Lin mother, and Lin Qiangsha desperately. I hugged them tightly, crying my heart out. "Godfather, Godmother, Qiangsha, please wake up." Everyone was quickly rushed to the hospital. Lin father, Lin mother, and Lin Qiangsha were bleeding profusely. They urgently needed blood. I immediately stepped forward, but our blood types didn't match. Seeing how distressed I was, the Zhui finally stepped forward. She said bitterly, "My blood type matches Lin Qiangsha's." Immediately after, Father Zhao, Mother Zhao, and Zhao Qingyao stepped forward too. Our blood types match Mr. and Mrs. Lin's. The Zhao family and the Zhui stood at the blood donation area, watching their blood slowly flow into the collection bags. Their hearts filled with mixed emotions. I stood not far away, anxiously waiting by the emergency room, where the Lin family had been taken. My eyes never left them for even a moment. My heart and soul were filled with concern for the Lin family. As for the actions of the Zhao family and the Zhui, I seemed completely unaware. Father Zhao looked at my back. The sting in his arm was nothing compared to the bitterness in his heart. He remembered when Zhao Zayuan was hospitalized years ago. He had also waited anxiously by his side, while I stood quietly by in tears. He didn't even spare me a comforting glance. Now, the roles were reversed. He finally understood how painful it felt to be ignored. Mother Zhao bit her lip, tears welling in her eyes. She once prepared countless gifts for Zhao Zayuan, but ignored the longing in my eyes. Now, as she saw me ignore them, her heart was filled with regret. Zhao Qingyao furrowed her brows, her heart full of guilt. She remembered how she once helped Zhao Zeyuan bully me. Those memories replayed over and over in her mind. Now, my indifference toward them was like a blade piercing her heart. The Zhui looked grave. She recalled all the harm she'd caused me in the past. Her heart was filled with guilt. She looked at me, wishing I would just glance back at her once. Even just one look. But all of my attention was focused on the Lin family. They all realized this was perhaps fate's cruel joke. Their past neglect of me was now reflected back upon themselves. Finally, the emergency room doors opened. The doctor walked out. He informed everyone that the surgery was a success. The Lin family was out of danger. Tears of joy streamed down my face. I rushed forward and tightly grabbed the doctor's hand, thanking him over and over again. The Zhao family and the Zhui also felt a wave of relief. They stepped forward, wanting to join me in sharing this joy. But I turned around and followed the nurse into the ward without looking back. Not even a glance was spared for them. Inside the ward, I stayed by the Lin family's side, taking care of them attentively. When Lin Qiangsha woke up, I held her tenderly in my arms. She felt warmth in my embrace, and the worry in her heart slowly faded. Meanwhile, the Zhao family and the Zhui stood outside the ward, watching my closeness with the Lin family. Their hearts were filled with sorrow. Mother Zhao couldn't help but break into tears. "What must we do?" she cried. "For Jingyu to forgive us?" Father Zhao and Zhao Xinyao remained silent. They knew earning my forgiveness wouldn't happen overnight. But they had no time to wallow in regret now, because they had one more important thing to do. 3 days later, a major event shocked Jiangshang. The Zhao couple personally turned in their eldest son, Zhao Zeyuan, to the police. When Father and Mother Zhao made this decision, their hearts endured indescribable torment. They watched Zhao Zeyuan being taken away by the police. Mother Zhao couldn't help but cover her face and weep. Father Zhao looked heartbroken. His eyes were full of helplessness and determination. They had once doted on Zhao Zeyuan endlessly, but never imagined he would walk down this path of no return. When I heard the news, I had mixed feelings, but only for a moment, because the moment I decided to leave earlier, I had already made up my mind. I would have nothing to do with the Zhao family or the Zhui ever again. After the Lin family and Lin Qiangsha were discharged, their health gradually recovered. One day, I mysteriously told Lin Qiangsha that I wanted to take her somewhere. She was full of curiosity. Under my lead, we arrived at a garden decorated like a dream. The garden was surrounded by blooming flowers. Petals lined the winding paths, leading to a stage adorned with colorful lights and balloons. All around were her favorite pink roses. The air was filled with a light floral fragrance. She looked at everything before her in astonishment. Before she could even react, music slowly began to play. I walked up to Lin Qiangsha. I knelt on one knee, holding a bouquet of vibrant red roses. I looked deeply into her eyes. "Qiangsha, from the moment we met, my world changed because of you. You are the brightest light in my life. I love you, and I want to protect you for the rest of my life. Will you be with me?" Lin Qiangsha looked into my sincere eyes. She could feel the depth of my love. Just as she was about to speak, right at that moment, a rush of hurried footsteps broke the romantic atmosphere. Everyone turned to look. They saw the Zhui rushing over, panting heavily. Her eyes were filled with urgency and reluctance. She stared straight at me. The Zhui walked up quickly to where Lin Qiangsha and I stood. Looking at me, she said in a trembling voice, "Jingyu, I know I made many mistakes in the past. I hurt you, but I've been trying hard to change. I realized I can't live without you. My love for you has never changed. Give me a chance. Let me make up for the mistakes I've made." The atmosphere at the scene instantly became tense. Qiangsha looked at the Zhui with a wary gaze. "The Zhui, Jingyu is happy now. Please stop bothering him. What you did in the past already brought Jingyu too much pain." I looked at the two women before me, feeling a rush of mixed emotions. My thoughts instantly drifted back to the past. Back then, I loved the Zhui deeply. I gave everything for her, but in return, I only received hurt and betrayal again and again. Those painful memories surged up like a tide, piercing my heart. However, I also saw how much the Jouet had changed recently. She was trying hard to make amends, sincerely hoping to regain my trust. But Ling Qiangsha had never left me when I was hurt. Through her actions, she showed me what true love and care meant. I took a deep breath. Trying to calm myself down, I looked at the Jouet, with a complicated expression in my eyes. Yes, what happened in the past hurt me deeply. It took me so long to walk away from all that pain. Ling Qiangsha gave me a kind of happiness and security I never had before. A trace of despair flashed in the Jouet's eyes. But she still stubbornly said, "Jingyu, I know I let you down, but I swear I'll love you with my life from now on. I'll never let you get hurt again." But I only shook my head coldly. Too late, just those 3 simple words struck the Jouet like a bolt of lightning. The Jouet watched helplessly as I gazed lovingly at Ling Qiangsha. At that moment, she felt like her entire world had collapsed. She watched as I held Ling Qiangsha tightly in my arms, eyes filled with despair. I paid no attention to the Jouet, but slowly lifted my head to look at Ling Qiangsha. My eyes were full of love. Ling Qiangsha understood the look in my eyes. I gently cupped her face, slowly moved closer. Our lips gradually met. In the blessings of everyone around, we kissed passionately. That kiss was not only a declaration of our love, but also a symbol of my complete break with the past. The Jouet watched this scene and felt heartbroken. Zhao Zeyuan's sudden appearance threw the entire garden into chaos. I stared in disbelief at the scene. I shouted loudly, "Zhao Zeyuan, you've already committed crimes. Escaping from prison will only worsen your sentence. Drop the knife." But Zhao Zeyuan was frantic. He stepped closer to me step by step, muttering, "It's you. You're the one who sent me to prison. I suffered endless torment inside. Today will be the day you die." His eyes were filled with hatred, as if he wanted to devour me alive. The Zhao family was also stunned by the sudden chaos. They were completely at a loss, just as Zhao Zeyuan raised the knife and was about to stab me viciously. A figure suddenly rushed out. The Jouet stood in front of me without hesitation. She shouted loudly, "Zhao Zeyuan, come at me instead." A flash of madness appeared in Zhao Zeyuan's eyes. The knife in his hand didn't pause at all. It plunged straight into the Jouet's chest. But Zhao Zeyuan was already completely out of his mind. He raised the knife again to stab me. Just at the critical moment, the Zhao family finally reacted. Zhao Fu rushed forward without hesitation. He used his body to block me. He shouted, "Zeyuan, you're crazy, stop." But Zhao Zeyuan was like a mad beast, unable to hear anything. The knife in his hand stabbed straight at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu couldn't dodge in time. He was stabbed in the abdomen. Blood instantly soaked through his clothes. Yet he endured the intense pain and shielded me with all his might. Zhao's mother screamed in panic upon seeing her husband injured, but without any hesitation, she also rushed forward, trying to hold Zhao Zeyuan back, to stop him from attacking again. "Zeyuan, what are you doing? He's your brother." Zhao's mother cried out. Her voice was full of pain and despair. Zhao Zeyuan violently threw her aside, knocking her to the ground. Then he raised the knife again and lunged at me. Seeing this, Zhao Xinyao was filled with panic. She rushed over without thinking and used her arm to block the fatal stab. Zhao Xinyao let out a cry of pain. Blood streamed from her arm. But she didn't retreat, still shielding me tightly. Just as Zhao Zeyuan was about to strike again, the Jouet endured the pain in her shoulder and charged forward once more. Seeing familiar faces rush to the door, she used all her strength to grab Zhao Zeyuan from behind and shouted loudly, "Ling Qiangsha, take Jingyu and go." Ling Qiangsha didn't have time to ask what had just happened. She quickly pulled me and ran toward the garden exit. Zhao Zeyuan struggled madly, waving the knife wildly. The Jouet received several more wounds on her body, but she never let go. "Zhao Zeyuan, wake up. Hatred will only trap you in endless pain. The sound of police sirens came from outside the garden. Hearing the sirens, Zhao Zaiwan's movements gradually slowed. A trace of fear and confusion flashed in his eyes. The knife in his hand clattered to the ground. His entire body collapsed to the floor. The police quickly rushed into the banquet hall and restrained Zhao Zaiwan, taking him away. Ling Qiangsha and I hurried back and rushed the injured to the hospital one by one. The Zhao family members were all stabbed, but the most seriously injured was the Zhui. After the surgery, the Zhao family gradually woke up from their coma. Zhao's father slowly opened his eyes and saw me by the bedside. There was a complex look in his eyes, filled with guilt and relief. Zhao's mother tightly gripped my hand after waking up, tears streaming down her face. Jingyu, Mom is sorry to you. Zhao Xinyao also weakly called, Brother. Her eyes filled with regret. However, the Zhiwei's condition remained critical. The doctor gravely informed me that due to the severity of her injuries, the Zhiwei was at risk of becoming vegetative. Hearing this news, I felt the world spinning around me. My heart was filled with mixed emotions. In those days, I stayed at the hospital day and night, running from ward to ward, carefully taking care of the Zhao family and the Zhiwei. I wiped Zhao's father's body, fed Zhao's mother, changed Zhao Xinyao's bandages. Every movement was done with care and focus. The Zhao family looked at my busy figure with growing feelings of guilt. Several times Zhao's father tried to speak, but didn't know how to start. Finally, one afternoon, he stopped me just as I was about to leave the room. His voice trembling, he said, Jingyu, Dad knows we were terribly wrong before. Please forgive us. Zhao's mother and Zhao Xinyao were also nearby, their eyes filled with hope. I stopped walking. A trace of pain flashed in my eyes. I took a deep breath and said slowly, I don't forgive you. I took care of you these days, only because you saved me. But the harm you caused me in the past, I won't forget. All those days of neglect, all those painful memories, can't just be forgotten. Hearing my words, the Zhao family felt as if their hearts had been struck by a hammer. Zhao's mother covered her face and cried. Zhao's father lowered his head. Zhao Xinyao looked at me with a pained expression. I looked at them and said word by word, after I finish taking care of you, we will no longer have anything to do with each other. Please don't come looking for me. And please, completely let me go. Don't make me remember that unbearable past again. After speaking, I turned and left the ward. My figure gradually faded into the distance. With every step, it was as if I was stepping on the Zhao family's broken hearts. Zhao's father stared in the direction I left. His hands hung powerlessly by his sides. All the cold moments from the past flashed through his mind like a slideshow. He remembered when I was young, how I looked longingly as he played with Zhao Zaiwan, but he always impatiently sent me away. He remembered on my birthday. He didn't even offer me a simple blessing. He was only focused on planning a grand party for Zhao Zaiwan. Now regret washed over him like a tidal wave. His throat felt choked with emotion, and he could only let out a hoarse, desperate cry. Zhao's mother collapsed on the ground, pounding the floor repeatedly with her fist. Her cries were heartbreaking. She remembered when I was sick before. She had only casually given me some medicine, then went off again to care for Zhao Zaiwan. And during that school event, I had hoped so much that she would come. But instead, she backed out just because of Zhao Zaiwan's little tantrum. How could I not hate Jingyu? Mom is sorry to you, she cried. Her voice, from crying too much, became hoarse and broken. Her face was covered with tears and snot. Her whole being was drowning in endless guilt and sorrow. Zhao Xinyao slowly slid down the wall to sit on the floor. Holding her head in her hands, her eyes stared blankly ahead. She remembered how she once snatched away my favorite toy in front of Zhao Zaiwan, and even mocked me for being weak. She remembered how at school, just to avoid embarrassment for herself, she deliberately distanced herself from me in front of classmates, isolated me. These memories were like sharp blades, piercing deeply into her heart. Jingyu, it was sister's fault. Sister regrets it. Please come back. In her cries, there was deep despair and helplessness. But what answered her was only the cold silence of the hospital corridor. Their cries intertwined, filling the entire hospital room. Each of them was repenting for their past actions. Yet they also knew clearly the harm they once caused couldn't be erased easily. My departure was like a wound that couldn't heal, leaving them bleeding and broken. All they could do was struggle in that abyss of pain, tasting the bitter fruit of their own making. 2 years quietly passed. Every week, without fail, I came to visit the Jiwei. On this day, I sat beside the Jiwei's hospital bed like always. Sunlight streamed through the window onto her face, highlighting her more mature features. Jiwei, did you know? Zhao Zayuan was sentenced to life in prison. He'll never get out again. My voice was calm and detached. There was no more anger or fear in my eyes. Those art awards he stole from me have all been corrected and now belong to me. These past 2 years, I've been painting diligently, held several exhibitions, and gained recognition from many. I paused slightly and continued, also, I'm getting married. Shi Lingshan. She's really good to me. She stayed by my side these 2 years, giving me warmth and support. My gaze grew distant, lost in memories. Back when I was at the Zhao family, I was always bullied. You were the only one who was occasionally kind to me. Lately, I've been dreaming a lot. Once, in the Zhao family's garden, I fell and scraped my knee by accident. The pain brought tears to my eyes. The Zhao family either didn't notice or just glanced briefly, then went back to caring about Zhao Zayuan. Only Nini hurried over, carefully comforting me, her eyes full of concern. She gently said, Jinyu, don't cry. I'll help you apply medicine. It won't hurt soon. At that time, the warmth of your embrace made me feel cared for the first time. So I really relied on you and gradually fell in love with you. But later I learned most of your kindness toward me was because of Zhao Zayuan. Do you know how heartbroken I was? I hated you, hated why you treated me like that. My voice trembled slightly, as if the pain from back then still lingered faintly. But now, it's all in the past. I've let go of all that love and hate. There's no more turmoil in my heart. I took a deep breath, looking at the Jiwei's calm face. Jiwei, this is the last time I'll visit you. From now on, I'll start my new life. You should wake up soon too, and go live the life that belongs to you. A single tear slid from the corner of my eye, landing on the Jiwei's hand. I gently wiped away the tear, stood up, and gave the Jiwei one last glance. Then I slowly turned and left the hospital room. My figure was upright and resolute, as if bidding farewell to my past self and embracing the new life ahead. After leaving the hospital, I returned to the home I share with Ling Qiangsha. Ling Qiangsha was busy in the kitchen, preparing my favorite dinner. Seeing me return, she smiled and walked over, gently hugging me. Did you go visit Jiwei? I nodded. Yeah, I said everything I needed to say. I think it's time to let go of the past and wholeheartedly embrace our future. Ling Qiangsha held me tightly and said to Jingyu, we will have a happy future. I curled my lips into a smile and looked at the crescent moon outside the window. From now on, it won't be everyone loving Zhao Zayuan. While no one loves me, it will be everyone loving me.